You blurred out. I couldn't even see it till you read.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning into the podcast, and thanks to our sponsor, SS96. Still rocking with us in 2022, and it's so amazing. We appreciate you. SS96 is putting out new merch and still has some of your favorites. Get your Xzequtive Productions t-shirts, Swish Masters t-shirts, as well as Farm Raised Entertainment t-shirts. Don't forget to check out Straight Stoners music, as well as my own release under Xzequtive Productions. It's available on all streaming platforms, and new music is in the works, so stay tuned. Go to ss96.net and use the promo code SwishMasters to get this kind of merch today. Thank you all again. We're grateful.
What's up? Welcome back, Swishes. We're back for another one.
Oh yeah, another day of playoff basketball. Q is happening.
Man, these playoffs are getting very interesting, man. Very, very interesting. Man, but we're excited to have y'all with us. We're gonna break all things basketball down, and particularly what's going on with the semifinal round so far. But man, so before we get into the playoff stuff, of course, we want to address different things that happened around the NBA. You know,
for sure.
So let's get it. One of the first things that happened was they announced another award winner. So we just want to shout out Tyler Hero for winning Sixth Man of the Year. Your boy. Yeah. So your reaction to Tyler Hero.
Man, well deserved. Shout out to Tyler just for putting in the work and just letting the world see it. He has had a great season thus far and still has continued to into the playoffs. So I'm glad to see him, especially after last season was kind of up and down for him, to bounce back like this and be able to set, these type of scoring marks off the bench. Just crazy to see him in a way grow and just take his role in the Heat organization to a new level. very proud, very much. I very much think everyone saw this one coming because he was just hands down the best scoring player off of the bench. Set a few records this year, so shout out to Tyler, man. I'm happy and hope to see him continue to do more and just continue to grow and evolve his game.
Man, now I remember we first got pitches for the award. I don't think I had Hero. Did you have him?
Mm-hmm.
You did. So yeah, shout out to you for the prediction, man.
I get him right sometimes, not too often, but sometimes.
Still, that's pretty good. I can't remember who exactly I predicted, but I don't think it was Tyler Hero. I think I was like, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, I did agree with you though. I think I went with somebody at first. I think I ultimately went with you. Some other candidates were like Kevin Love with the Cavaliers. He was another candidate.
Yeah.
Who was also pretty well deserving of it. But Tyler Hero, just a bucket getter off the bench. So yeah, he definitely deserved the award for sure. So yeah, definitely shout out to Tyler.
I did. And as a young player, being able to accept that role, coming off the bench, and still coming in and playing with confidence, playing at the same level, same intensity, regardless of sometimes as a young player, higher draft pick, you may be looked at and you may see yourself as like, oh, I should be starting, I should be this and that, I should be the guy sometimes. But he took his role and took stride in it. So that's very big, especially coming from a young player.
Yeah, definitely. So again, shout out to Tyler Hero. Very well deserved. Very well deserved. No complaints here. And he got it out the water too. He led by so many votes. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Definitely deserved it. All right. Another thing that happened recently in the NBA, Ben Simmons underwent back surgery. He's expected to return before training camp starts. So, your thoughts on the Nets situation, and does this make your views on Simmons' situation a little bit different now that he had surgery? I think it was called a microdectomy.
I don't know the exact name, but I just know it was surgery. Surgery to relieve his herniated disc or something.
Yeah, that was for. Let me see. It was you keep going.
Well, to backtrack, I mean, obviously we know Ben Simmons didn't play all year. With first off the whole Philly drama, trying to get out of there and taking a break from basically basketball because of mental health, and finally got traded to the Nets in March. And it was expected that he would make his debut soon after getting traded, but that didn't happen and still wasn't ready. Then there was the back injury. I think this is just I hope he is feeling better after the surgery. He's recovering well, and we just get to see him on the court next year. Because he didn't play a game at all this season. So I'm sure the Nets are really hoping to have him play and available for training camp. Maybe even get him some summer league rep if he's ready, since he hadn't played in so long. But glad to hear that his surgery was successful, and I just hope to see him back on the court.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what you have to say about this one, because
I ain't me. What? It's me. I gotta say.
I want to know what you got going on in mind about this, because it's a funny situation to say the least.
Alright. Alright, let me clear my throat. Alright.
Let's prep the mic.
Prep the mic. Alright, so alright. Ben Simmons got back surgery.
Yes, he did.
Thankfully it was very successful. I All right. And the reports are that he is going to return before training camp starts. So,
According to report.
Good. So he should be back. My only thing is this, I guess. If you needed surgery, why not get it like when you're like not playing for like months? If you needed surgery, like why not get it while you're on your way out of Philly? And that's just a very valid excuse. You know, it's a very valid excuse. Like you need surgery, then you'll have to be out for the season. And it's understandable. Your trade value when it dips so much.
I guess.
Maybe. So like if you needed it, why not get it sooner? So you can be back on the court sooner.
But did his back injury happen? I thought did the back injury happen while he was like still with Philly or after he was traded to Brooklyn?
Good point. Either way, I don't think we heard anything about the back until after he was traded.
Mm-hmm.
Even so, before the trade can happen, was he supposed to be able to pass a physical?
Supposed to be. I'm pretty sure
So
that
means no matter what, he was well enough for them to clear the trade. And
right.
Apparently the doctors didn't suspect anything then. Right? So, when did this injury happen? Like, he wasn't really playing much.
Right.
I don't know when it happened, but
I mean,
I don't know. But we see Desmond Bain out there playing with a bad back. I mean, he's playing. And then what makes it worse is that you say you're gonna come back before game 4, right?
Right.
There are no back issues, nothing. That's what all the reports said from Brooklyn. Everything was fine. Right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the Nets lose again, and now back pain happens again, and we don't see you play now for an entire year and some change until the next time we see him play. So, I mean, ultimately, it's still a bad situation.
For sure.
Views on Ben Simmons doesn't really change drastically because he got the surgery. The issues are still the same issues. He forced himself out of Philly. We still haven't seen him play at all. We've seen some little highlight videos here and there, but there's nothing really. I haven't seen anything in particular that's showing me that he's ready. So I don't know what he looks like. And the Nets gave up. Well, I'll say this: the Nets pulled off a good trade out of the way, I think, because not only got Ben Simmons, you got Steph Curry and which were like pieces you need to fill for the rest of the roster.
Yeah.
But the main piece was Ben Simmons. And
He was
and this Ben Simmons is gonna be owed a whole bunch of money for the next couple of years.
Yeah, he did sign a big contract extension right before this trade.
He did.
So
he's on the books for at least a couple more years, at least 2 or 3.
yeah,
And this is
I feel like with this whole Ben Simmons thing, I for game 4, the Brooklyn series, once they lost game 3, I was like, he shouldn't even try to be like, oh, I'm gonna play, because it wouldn't matter anyway. So I wasn't mad at, him not just saying I'm not gonna play. I feel like a lot of people like upset that he was like, oh, now he's not playing because they're down 3-0, and it would have been good to like go out there and show effort. But at the end of the day, they're not winning coming back from 3-0. And to be fair, yeah, we didn't hear about the back until like this recent series. But, and another like the back injury could happen at different times. It could be something that was aggravated before, and then it just got worse once he, started back working out. He probably hadn't done a lot since he hadn't played all year. So I'm not like, I'm not like questioning when or the severity of the injury. I just think that now that he is out of surgery and successful, and the entire season is going by, and we're going to have this whole off season, that, you know, physically he should be fine, like ready to go by time 2022, 2023 season starts. Mentally, I don't know. That's a different battle. But hopefully he's worked through his issues and, you know, working with the team and the staff to get back. But to be fair, I don't know about the back injury, and there's no way to be able to pinpoint it. So
I don't know. I was just stating the facts about what was out there. You know, a couple days before game 4, he was fine, and then it happened. But the thing is, if you need to search the whole time, just get it, and then you'll be out. It benefits you and
it's a bad
everybody
look.
else. Like, it's still a bad look. Now, mentally, I don't know where he's at, but I hope he gets better. And hopefully, as he gets better physically, maybe he'll get better mentally. I don't know the process that he's taking, but hopefully, he gets better.
The process.
Yeah, but hopefully, he gets better.
Hopefully.
If you're the Nets, you still can't do much. You're stuck. Trade value is, I don't know. Does this do anything to his trade value?
I don't think it's done anything that hadn't already been done. I feel like it's like, oh, Simmons didn't play. Oh, he had back surgery. I don't think that changes anything at this point. I feel like ever since June of last year, the last time we saw him play was like, oh, that and this whole Philly thing is what brought it down and not playing. So to hear this is like, oh, it's just more of the same to me, in my opinion. Yeah. But I mean, I hope he comes out and plays and just, you know, just plays well, regardless of all the outside noise and stuff.
Yeah. And so ultimately we both want the same thing. We just hope that he comes back healthy and that he's fine.
Yeah.
And I don't know. We're gonna see. I just want to see how he looks on the court.
Yeah.
Because the last time we saw him, it wasn't good. The last time we saw him, he didn't want to take a layup over Trae Young. That's the last time we saw him.
That's rough. That's a rough image to watch.
It's tough. And that's
6 foot.
Yeah, that's the last image we got of him playing on the court.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
My perception
doesn't
really change. I just hope he gets better, like you said.
Yeah. I think it's a good step forward, and him, you know, taking his health seriously, whether it's physical or mental, getting the surgery, and now just do the work. That's all it is. Just do the work in the off season, come back better.
That's all I can ask for. Another thing that happened in the news recently. So this was released a couple days ago. We found out now that the reason why Frank Vogel was fired was because of his inability to make Russell Westbrook a more productive part of the team. All right. He played a big role in his firing. I don't know why this didn't come out now. I kind of want to say duh, but like, this report came out and, you know, it's blowing up. So what's your reaction to this?
I mean, yeah, it makes sense because we saw Russell Westbrook struggle all year, and this is in my opinion, one of the greatest players that we probably will witness in this generation. So to see how the Lakers season went when you have Russell, LeBron, Anthony Davis when he's healthy, it was like, what? It just didn't make sense. And it seems that they didn't really click. They didn't really have this same mindset or on the same page all season. So I'm sure they were it's not just his sole fault that it didn't work out with Russ. But when I'm looking at his previous season in Washington, I'm like, oh, this dude helped the Wizards get to the playoffs And I'm like, okay, so if he can help the Wizards get to the playoffs when they pretty much, I didn't really see them making it, even with Bradley Beal. And he averaged a triple double again. And then you come to the Lakers with better, should be a better team. Yeah, I'm gonna be like, what happened right there? And to see how he struggled this year, was like, man, this is not the Russell Westbrook that we know. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. And like I said, I don't solely blame Frank Vogel for that, but it just was a weird thing. I've never really seen him struggle like that. I've seen Russ have some bad games, but not the whole season. And still, like, even with the rotations, trying to figure out, do I put him in with Rondo when we had Rondo in the early season? And does he play on ball with LeBron? Or he can't. It was just bad. So, I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, that was my very point. Like, you remember the lineups he had with Rondo and Russ on the floor at the same time. Come on, Vogel. Like, and he did this.
Rondo, Russ, and LeBron.
He did this multiple times. He did it multiple times. That does not work. Also, so yeah, it's on him with the rotations, right? And it's also on him for, like, okay, you think Russ needs to come off the bench? You get him off the bench. He's the coach, right? So just watch him and see how it works. And you could have staggered the minutes to where he plays mostly with the bench. He can still start and then just stagger his minutes. Take him out, put him back in the second unit. And there are multiple things he could have done.
Yeah.
Now, granted, AD was hurt. LeBron was hurt. When you really see too many games with the big three all together, But the thing is, their record wasn't that great when they did play together. It wasn't even that 500. So I wish we got a chance to see them all play and they're all healthy. But I will say this about Russ: at least he was available most of the season. I mean, I will say that, but it's up to you as a coach to adjust the scheme to the players. Clearly, Frank Vogel's scheme is more defensive oriented, but you lost a lot of your defensive players when your front office decided to trade for Westbrook. You don't have Caldwell Pope. You don't have Caruso, right? You don't have Kuzma, who's decent in defense, at least he gives you length, right? And someone who can also give you consistent scoring, at least to a certain degree. I think when they got Westbrook, they didn't think he'll be this version of Westbrook. Nobody thought Westbrook would be like this. This is definitely not what Westbrook had in mind. But again, adjust the scheme to the players. Adjust the scheme to the players. And because he didn't do that, yes, he got fired. It was reports out that you can be fired weeks ago. Like, before you would have just traded along to the end. We knew he was going to get fired. Now, I will say this: I don't like how they leaked it though. Like, don't leak it. Let it stay in house. I mean, we can all assume he's gonna get fired, but let it stay, and that turns you off on other head coaches. So just keep it in house.
Yeah, it was just a bad look on the organization as a whole with how this season was handled. From his firing to just coaching mishaps in the earlier season, it just looked atrocious compared to what LeBron-led Lakers team, what you would think that team would look like. It was just like, man, this is dumpster fire, honestly. But we'll see what happens. Like, I mean, I don't like that whole, I'm still thinking about the clip, bro. Like, the reporter asking Frank Vogel about, did he hear about him getting fired? It's like, bro, what? So you mean I'm coming after the game? You telling me, oh, you're fired? How do you know I'm fired? You are not even in the same company. Like, that just looked terrible, and that looks. I wouldn't want to be a part of any of that at all.
Yeah, it conveys this organization at the top. It conveys just a whole lot of negative impressions just with that work environment. So Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what they do. And apparently, one of the things that they're doing is they got Phil Jackson. It seems like Phil Jackson always pops up when there's a major franchise that needs some type of shift. You remember when Phil Jackson joined the Knicks front office, and you remember some of the picks Phil Jackson made. Let me remind y'all some of the things, some of the people he drafted. He drafted Frank Ntilikina. Remember? He drafted Kristaps Porzingis, which nobody heard about. Knicks fans were upset, but granted, the unicorn showed up. You know, it was like, okay, Phil Jackson died, but some of the coaches he selected were terrible. And man, but okay, so this has got to be. Okay, Phil Jackson is apparently involved heavily with the Lakers coaching search. So, all right, what do you think? Is this a good idea or a bad idea for the Lakers to do this?
This is not a good idea at all, in my opinion. Phil Jackson, we know as a coach, great, you know, chips on chips on chips, for sure. But as an executive, general manager, he hasn't had the best track record. And when he went to New York, we saw that, like, the Knicks, obviously being not a very stable franchise already, and trying to add the right pieces. Kristaps Porzingis was a great pick, and no one knew who he was. But once he got there, it was like, oh, I see. And that was his one, and it still didn't really work out at the end. He got traded away. He got hurt. Frank Ntilikina, I liked him when he, first got drafted. I was like, after his first couple of seasons, I was like, well, not so much of an impactful player. So no, I don't think that Phil Jackson is the answer to their issues with roster and filling out the organization. I don't think that's the right move because he hasn't really had a good track record from a hiring standpoint. As a coach, he was great, but if he was like, oh, I'll coach, then that would be something different. But I don't see that really working any better than what they're doing right now. If anything, Rob Pelinka and that organization has to figure it out. I don't feel like Phil Jackson's gonna do anything good for that for hiring their head coach. You got to talk that out with your organization. And it's weird because it's like he's not even. Are you hiring him as like a consultant or something, or what? Or are you just like, oh, let's call Phil, see what he thinks, and he doesn't really have a good track record, so I don't see the point in it.
Yeah, he does have a good relationship with Jeannie Buss as well, so he can be an influence. Also, along with Phil Jackson, apparently Kurt and Linda Rambis have been like very involved with the Lakers as well. They don't have official titles, but apparently they give a lot of influence to what they do. So they need to be more organized at the top. Either way, I agree with everything you said. This is one thing. I don't want to see Phil Jackson coaching. It's been too long. I don't need to see triangle offense. Who's running triangle today? Nobody.
Who do you have that can play in it if it's not Kobe and MJ?
Nope.
Yeah.
The NBA it's evolved into more since then. Now, with that being said, let's get into what coach you would like to see for the Lakers. We heard reports that Mark Jackson interviewed with the Lakers. There are a lot of talks heating up. Terry Stotts, former head coach of the Trailblazers, was interviewed. Darvin, they have a bunch of interest in Darvin Ham, who is still coaching right now in the playoffs. Assistant coach for the playoffs right now still. So, yeah, who do you see being a good fit for the Lakers?
I feel like the Lakers need a structure, if that makes sense, because it seemed like with Vogel, offensively, they didn't really have a setup of what they wanted to do. And to be fair, it was because of, their main guys being out of the lineup a lot with AD being hurt. LeBron missed some games and not knowing what to do with Russell Westbrook. But I feel like they need someone that's kind of a more stern type of coach who they respect. And it's not to say they disrespected Frank Vogel, but it seems like they kind of like I'm just gonna do whatever on offense. I think I like the Mark Jackson interview a lot, and I feel like he helped to groom what the Warriors became, and Steve Kerr, built on that. And I feel like with his basketball mind, combine that with LeBron, and I mean, at this point they still have Russell Westbrook. I don't see that, changing. I feel like he will be able to take the reins and give them a better sense of direction and work with because we know the GM, the coach, whatever you want to call LeBron, he's going to be very influential to say the least. But I feel like being able to work with like a Mark Jackson, someone I feel like be able to more easily listen to will be good. Terry Stotts, I think, is a good coach, but when it comes to his record, as far as going to the playoffs, he took the Blazers there for years and years, but they couldn't really get over the hump. And I think that they need someone with just a bit more sternness. I don't feel like Terry Stotts would bring that either. So I think Mark Jackson would be a good fit.
Yeah, I do like the interview Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson's been a coach. Whenever there's a head coaching announcement, a lot of people throw Mark Jackson and Van Gundy, right? These are the main people we hear, but they somehow just never get the job. So I wonder if this is more like lip service, but there's another report that they're waiting to see if Doc Rivers or he's definitely one of them. I'm drawing a blank on the other. Who else is in the league right now? All right, Budenholzer. There's somebody else who's in the playoffs right now. They're trying to wait and see. So you got Doc. It wasn't
Udoka.
It's not Udoka.
That's in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Monty Williams.
No, not him. They're trying to see if they don't let him go or not.
I can only think of Monty, Jason, Kidd. As far as head coaches, those are the four that are left.
That's it. Wow. I feel like there's another name with that, but it was definitely Doc Rivers though. We're trying to see what happens with him.
I heard about Doc Rivers. I'm not really a big fan of that one, but
yeah, I'm not a big fan of Doc Rivers either. But they're trying to wait and see. Now they did have a coach in the building, but they let him go. And Jason Kidd, that was supposed to be their head coach. But they still just hired him from the get-go because that's one of the main coaches that they wanted. So, and not only that, but to let Tyronn Lue slip, I feel like he would have been the perfect coach for them. And yeah, I just think Terry Stotts is not a good fit. I would like for them to see what Greg Popovich is going to do. If you could get Pop coaching LeBron, I would love that. Can you imagine Pop and LeBron together? Those two great NBA minds together.
I don't know if it's Team USA or something, but I don't see that ever happen.
It could happen now. It could happen. And
Pop leaving the Spurs for after 30 years.
Hey, he has so much respect with the league, though. And the players are going to listen to him. And he's not going to play. He's going to get in your face. And that's what they need. I need a coach that's going to tell, hey, it's not scary to tell LeBron, hey, you need to do this. Russ, get on the bench. You need to do this. I'm going to stagger your minutes. And to, at least adjust. And he probably leave the Spurs. I know the Spurs is home, but I was just wondering if he's willing to maybe just for 2 years. Just try it out for 2 years. Do the other for 2 years. Still have your house in San Antonio.
I feel like Greg Popovich is the most loyal one of the probably most loyal people you'll ever meet, just based on what I know about it. I've never met him actually, so it's to see him anywhere but San Antonio would be like not real to me. It wouldn't make sense. Like, I get what you're saying, and yeah, of course, like everyone respects Pop, everyone in the basketball world. But I just couldn't see it. Like, I couldn't see that pairing at all. So it'll be a crazy scenario. And yeah, like to see those two minds like meet in LeBron and Greg Popovich, insane, right? But I'm like 99% sure of that. No way that would happen.
Man, I would love to see.
It'd be crazy though. It'd be crazy.
I would love to see if that could happen. And I guess the other thing they could do is maybe get a coach that's not a big name like Darvin Ham. He has a lot of respect around the league apparently.
Oh, the other one. You maybe just. I think they were talking about JB Bickerstaff from Cleveland.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's another one. Could potentially be a good one. I don't know. I just hope they get a coach. Whoever they get has gotta be able to get in their face, and to be a coach that's willing to adjust. Because Jason Kidd, I think he would be one of he could have been the perfect fit for him, based on what he's doing with the Mavericks right now. So, and he's respected, and he's had some decent coaching experience. And I know he's a coach that can adjust. That's my main thing. At least I know he can adjust. There we go. Just remember, Quinn Snyder. Just came top of my head. Quinn Snyder. That's the other one. That's the other one. But he's already out of the playoffs. But they're trying to see if he's going to leave. So that's the other one. It's Quinn Snyder and Doc Rivers. It's crazy how that came to my mind just now. So Quinn, I think he might be out the door in Utah. Utah, we had a conversation about this. They need to change.
There's a lot going on with Utah, man.
Like I said, blow it up. Everything. D-Wade gone. Everybody out.
D-Wade should sell this show right now.
Yeah, everybody out. We can do this. This ain't working. But yeah, Quinn Snyder could be potentially out there. So that's what they're trying to wait and see. So we're probably not gonna hear anything else until maybe a couple weeks from now. Especially probably around whenever this round finishes up, we'll probably hear more.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I think. But man, these Lakers. Well, speaking of Lakers, there's a former Laker that put a tweet out there. He was in tweets out there. He did. So, former Laker great, Magic Johnson. Shout out to Magic. Documentary Winning Time is out there. Y'all check that out. But Magic Johnson put out some tweets recently. Tweet number 1. The playoff teams that need to make trades and moves this summer are the Brooklyn Nets, Utah Jazz, Atlanta Hawks, and the Chicago Bulls. Then he also said this. The two big market teams that need to improve are the Lakers and the Knicks. And to remind you, he just said this randomly one day. It was just random. But I like, all right. Let's see. Let's see. But so, do you agree with Magic?
Definitely the two big markets. Yeah, like the Lakers, they look stagnant right now. I don't feel like they can do much with the big contracts and not really having draft picks, anything. So yeah, they have to do something because, as you know, his former team, yeah, of course he wants to see them succeed and be dominant the way that the Lakers have been. They're a dynasty franchise. And the Knicks, yeah, we haven't seen the Knicks be good consistently since the 90s. I mean, Melo's time was like, made some playoffs, but that was it. They didn't get deep. So yeah, those two franchises definitely are historic and two of the most biggest, cities, markets in the world. As far as like the trades, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree. It's funny that he's like, just throwing it out there. He just like letting it be known. Like, Magic speaks, we just listen, but I don't know what trades to make for all of these teams. I mean, and maybe they want to do something different, but hey, let it be known, Magic. That's all I got to say.
I definitely agree with Magic about the two big market teams. It sucks that the Knicks just went back into like the field of whatever, just not alive at all. We were hearing so much big improvements about Julius Randle, and
I know we were just talking to Pete Hill about the Knicks being good one year, the next, this is what they expect, and this as a fan base, it's like, dang, in the mecca of basketball in New York, Madison Square Garden, you expect to be, seeing good basketball, but it just is like, there was so much wrong with the Knicks, bro. Like Julius
Were
Randle.
they booing at home like Julius Randle? And Julius Randle upset.
Julius Randle, man, he to me, his breakout year was last year, and he just this year felt like he was a superstar. And I'm like, all right, you just got to the point where you just made an all-star after being in the league for 6-7 years.
So we're paying attention to you.
So yeah, I mean, of course, like I'm sure New York is with you, but at the same time, you can't act like you're on the superstar terms now. I feel like he was taking it to a level that he's not quite at, and he could get there, but now I was like, all right, dang, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like he was doing a little bit too much superstardom on the court, and it fell apart. So
yeah, those two big market teams really do need to make improvements. Now, I wonder how can they improve, and what does he mean by improvements? Because he was more specific with, I believe, that first tweet. I think. Let's see what he said again. Yeah, he said trades and moves for them, right? And he just said improve for the two big market teams. So I would like to know what he means by improve. Is he talking about front office? Is he talking about what? Because trades and moves implies players only. You gotta fix those players. Get the roster straight. Improve. I'm wondering if he's implying as well, like front office, everything. I mean, I like the front office for the Knicks. I particularly like how diverse it is. I do love the diversity there, but y'all are doing so well. The trajectory was this way. Yeah, as soon as the season started.
yeah, ever since the playoffs last year, it just went downhill, bro. I was like, man, I was expecting them to beat the Hawks. Didn't happen. Then the offseason happened. They didn't really make significant moves. I think they lost Reggie Bullock, sent him to Dallas, and yeah, didn't really work out that well. And the season was mediocre. So, improve. I think it's like you said. I think it's a combination of many things. And he probably just didn't want to say, especially with his Lakers. Probably don't want to say, Jeannie Buss, you got to make some moves, or fire this person, or bring somebody else in. He probably doesn't want. He's probably, because it's the Lakers. He probably was like, all right, I'm not gonna like be so specific because I don't want to cause any hassle or anything. But the other group, like, all right, I don't know this, bro.
He should, man. He got the pull. Say what you gotta say. Say you need to fire that coach. Say you need replacement with somebody else. Say you want to move Westbrook. You want Westbrook to be moved, like whatever. Like he got the pull. Magic. He was a former GM, and I wish he kept the job. But it was like all the different influences.
I ain't gonna be here. He said I ain't gonna be here. It was too much, bro. It's
man, I wish he stayed though, man. Can you imagine where they could be right now if he stayed?
Maybe he had to leave, and that's what opened up opportunities, because from his whole thing with the Lakers a couple years ago was that it seemed, from what I was reading into, it seemed like every decision he made was kind of getting undermined.
Right. That's
So
what
he
it
felt,
was. I wouldn't, because if you're the head honcho, you're the guy. Do what I say. That's
he's the
what
president of basketball operations, but he's, his decisions don't have any, hold in the organization. I'm like, yeah, I'm not about to sit up here and not, when I do my job, I don't get the decisions. I don't get my decisions approved, but I'm the president. And then when it goes bad, y'all blame me anyway. So I would have got out. I would have got out too. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to stay in that type of environment. But
blame and shifted. Like they put it out there that it's, hey, it's LeBron's and maybe he's fault. Hey, Russ is here. We had to trade with him, but he, right?
yeah,
Nah, it's your decision to do that and to get rid of some of the pieces. I think they could have got Russ without giving up all those pieces. Personally, I think they could have got him without getting rid of all those pieces. You could have kept some of them.
I mean, salary wise, maybe, but
Like Caruso, they just kind of let him walk. They could have got him back.
yeah, that's true. Caruso was a big piece for them.
Caruso could have, he could have stayed. I wouldn't have signed Rondo. What's the point of that? I would have got he got the mindset, but you already got so many other guards. I mean,
They were basically running the championship roster back.
you can't.
Brought Dwight Howard back. Signed DeAndre Jordan. Didn't work. So I agree with Magic. I'm interested to see what he means, with especially like with Utah. These trades that happen, moves.
That's what he means, trade moves, get somebody else. You got to change the roster. Brooklyn, change the roster. I think he's talking about Ben Simmons for the most part. Chicago Bulls, they got hurt. I mean, it was injuries, so I don't know about the Bulls. I don't know who they need, because I feel like they got pretty decent pieces. I guess they can get. Well, what they need to try to get a better backup PG. Maybe. Because Caruso is injury prone and Lonzo got hurt. So maybe get another guard that can play make. That's not too high. Like, maybe get that through the draft, maybe. Or you just get a trade from somewhere. Because there are a lot of good young players that have potential to be good playmakers.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Hawks, I don't even know. That's the one I'm confused by. I don't know what they can do. Because they ain't have any really drastic injuries. They were at the Eastern Conference Finals out in the first round. So I don't know. What do you think? I think we mentioned it. What can they do at all? What do you think they can do? Yeah.
Get healthy for one. With Collins went down earlier this year, and he came back up last week. But he wasn't 100%. Okay. I think they need to get. They need a better bench, because their starting lineup, as of right now, seems pretty solid. With Capella. Capella was hurt too. He came back, but get healthy.
Yeah,
Trae Young.
Yeah.
Trae Young needs another. I feel like they need another dynamic scorer, and they didn't have Lou Will this year, who was also hurt. They need someone who can take the ball and give, take some pressure off of Trae for significant amounts of time in the game, because he's the primary ball handler. So, they have Herter and Bogdanovich, who played well, but I feel like they need a secondary primary ball playmaker that can take over for times in the game, significant times in the game for Trae. And, if Lou comes back and, is healthy, then that'd be good for them, but just in depth on the bench.
Is this an all-star caliber player, or are you talking about more of a player that's maybe not as well known, maybe underrated? Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking about more all-star caliber type player?
I would say probably more of the all-star caliber type player, because if they want to get back to going to the conference finals or going all the way, they're going to need that other guy that's, outside of Trae Young and All-Star. And Collins, I feel like has that potential, but he's not a ball handler. I feel like once Trae and John go to the bench, then who? You got Herter making some shots, but who else can go off the dribble, get their own for a couple of possessions? So, I mean, similar to what Golden State has with Jordan Poole. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking. Like Jordan Poole, that's the one player that came in my head. Like, I'm trying to think of other players that could be similar to him. It would have been cool if they got maybe Halliburton. Maybe because what they gave up to get him, like they could have been in play to get him based on what they gave up. Like, you probably would have given up maybe Capella, maybe. I don't know. I don't know, but it's somebody like that, I guess. We'll see what they do. I don't know. We'll see what they do. But as far as tweets goes, there have been a lot of other tweets in the NBA. So we'll probably start doing this weekly too. React to some of these crazy tweets in these NBA streets.
Bro, NBA Twitter is the funniest thing. I promise you.
Yeah, we also talked about Magic, you know. But also in the Twitterverse, we had Patrick Beverly after John Morant dropped 47. Patrick Beverly tweets this 47-piece in my head emoji didn't happen in our series. Just saying. #facts. Alright. And then everybody getting on him. There's one dude said he got those 4 wins though. And Patrick Beverly's like, duh, Captain Obvious. My thing is like, okay, why? why even tweet that out? You know you're a guardian for the most part, right? Like, I mean, y'all still got, not only that, you got big leads and you lost them constantly. Just don't do nothing. Stay silent. You're the man who's props. Say he dropped 47. Talking about what happened in our series, man.
It's
you couldn't win your series either, could you? Like, come on, couldn't win happen in our series.
This era of life, just everything is on social media. Everything's on Twitter. Everyone's making a video of something and talking about it. Everyone's talking right after the game. Like a couple years ago, that wasn't a thing. Like, I remember it was LeBron that would be like, going, whatever he called it. He just wouldn't be on social media at all during the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And now everyone is just like right after the game, Ja hitting you up like, oh, I kept receipts and want all the smoke. And then Pat Bev doing this. I mean, I'm not mad at it. It's funny. It's just funny to me.
It's funny.
But it's just like, all right, bro. Well, yeah, he dropped 47. And yeah, it didn't happen against y'all, but they're in the next round. And y'all also lost 25-point leads multiple times throughout the series. So anybody can clap back. And it's funny. It's just like, well, bro, what do you want me to say? He dropped 47. You couldn't stop them from winning. It doesn't matter. So it's just so funny to see like everyone getting in on the conversation or going at each other on Twitter. It's like, bro, the Twitter fingers just never stop at this point. It's just hilarious to watch. But come on, Pat Bev.
You remember LeBron's thing, by the way, it was called 0 Dark 30, remember?
Yes, yeah. I was saying 0 in my head, but I was like, I don't remember this.
Yeah, it was 0 Dark 30. But yeah, Pat Bev. You also had an instance where KD was getting booed. He was in the EuroLeague, man. And shout out to KD for I think he bought an FC. I think he's investing into it. So like, shout out to KD with that, But man, this man got booed. Rightfully so.
Oh, yeah.
Rightfully so. Yeah, but yeah, that was the other thing that was funny to me. That it also tells you how big our sport is in the NBA, man. It tells you how big it is, and how you have fans still involved. With what's going on. So
That's hilarious to go to Peace and Friendship Stadium, right? And get booed, and you're not even playing. You just chilling. You're on vacation at this point.
He just in stands, man. He just chilling.
I'm coming to support the homie playing, and yeah, everybody's like, "Boo! This guy, like, this guy sucks." For no reason. I'm just here, bro. I'm not even playing. I'm not playing. I'm not dropping 50 on your team. I'm just in the crowd with y'all.
Right.
Are you gonna boo me? Like, dang, bro, that's funny.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, it's cool to see like how recognized and big, just and competitors. You know what I mean? I respect it. It's funny to see, even in Europe, that they booing Kevin Durant. He's just there, bro. It's like I just exist here right now.
Right.
That's hilarious.
And then the last ones you see, man. Yeah, this was just, man, they said you just Khaled or with the gym membership, bro. Khalid, because I forgot we pronounce his name Khalid with the gym membership. And no, they talking about the artist Khalid. So, man, Jaylen Brown, bro. that was pretty funny.
Oh, this meme is like top tier to me. This is I've seen a few of these, but this was the like latest one that I saw. And bro, this meme with him like whispering to him and him like looking like, it's just hilarious, bro. Like, and it's funny because they do favor with the hairstyle, and it's like, dang, bro. But Jaylen Brown has been hooping to his credit. He's been going off, but that's hilarious. But like, I've seen so many of those Ime Udoka memes, like he's whispering to him, like, "Hey, bro." that's
with Jason Tatum too. Like that's what he does.
That's hilarious.
The NFL a little bit. Like that's what NFL coaches do for the most part.
Oh yeah, this is the entertainment factor of the NBA and Twitter. Amazing, bro. Like I love seeing that. So that is hilarious.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. But, man, let's go ahead and get ready to get into our playoff matchups, right? We were just talking about Jaylen Brown, so let's go ahead and start with the Celtics a little bit. All right, let's just remind people what's going on. You know, the Bucks won a close one yesterday, and they lead the series 2-1, right? We both were very impressed with the game, and so you have any other thoughts about that game?
Not really. Other than what I said yesterday, Jaylen Brown did have 27, and Tatum just has one of his worst games in the playoffs. Yeah, but I think we both agreed. You know, good players don't have bad games like that all back to back. So next game will be better for him, I believe. But it's gonna be tough to see how they match up with Giannis, what they're gonna do to slow him down, because I think he's on his mission. So nothing really changed for that part.
Yeah, and as far as Game 4 goes, we went the opposite. You actually predicted that the Bucks will win Game 4 because of the dominance of Giannis, and I said the Celtics will bounce back and win Game 4. So we'll see. If you want to check out what we said, check out the podcast as well. We went more in depth about the game, so we just want to remind y'all what we said. All right. Now, let's get into a game we predicted about last night. The Warriors and the Grizzlies.
Oh man.
Now. Allow me to have my time real quick, sir. Now, I predicted correctly that it was going to be a blowout. And boy, did the Warriors blow out the Grizzlies. I told y'all. I told you it was going to happen. And it happened. Now, I was wrong about my prediction about the halftime stat. I was wrong about that. I predicted that the Warriors would be up at least by 15. I was wrong. Who knew Ja Morant would hit a half-court shot? I shouldn't be surprised because he's Ja Morant. He's spectacular that way. But the fact is, they did get blown out by the fourth quarter. No, I was doing something else. I had the game on in the background. I'm chilling because it's a blowout now. But in all seriousness, though, it is unfortunate about what happened towards the end of the game in the fourth The Grizzlies are down big already, and the Warriors go to double team Ja Morant. You have Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins double teaming him, and what happens is it seems like Jordan Poole actually grabs and yanks Ja Morant's knee. And based on current reports right now, it looks like Ja will not be available for Game 4. So, yeah, what are your thoughts about that?
It's unfortunate. Earlier in the game, I think he may have tweaked his knee a little bit, but he was able to play still. And I don't think it was intentional. It just sucks to see it happen, especially with an explosive guy, athletic as Ja. That's always like a fear when you're so athletic. Anything can go with the knee or ankle or anything, and for that to happen the way it did, it just was especially with what happened with Dylan Brooks, right? It just looks really bad. But I doubt that he was like, oh, I'm gonna yank this dude's knee. Like that's really breaking the code. If that's intent, that's terrible. That's way worse in my opinion. But I know I don't know his intent, but I doubt that he was trying to hurt the guy. It's just unfortunate that it happened, and it sucks that we might not get to see Ja in the next game. Hoping, number one, that he's healthy and, good to go. But it is just a bad look on the Warriors.
Yeah, it is a bad look. I wasn't expecting that to happen. It's very sad for that to happen. It's very unfortunate. But it really brings the fact that there has been a lot of physicality in this series so far. And it started all the way back with Game 1. You have instances of Draymond Green and then Dylan Brooks. And now with Jordan Poole. It's like with every game, we're getting something that happens that's going to be talked about more almost in the game itself. We're talking about these injuries and this physicality more than the game for the most part. So I love the fact that the game is physical. I like that it lets some things go. It's good seeing this type of basketball. It's still not 90s basketball, but it's like, it's better than what we've seen, so I do love that. But to grab and yank the knee, those are facts. He did grab and yank it. Intent, like I said before, it's tough to figure out intent with players. We're not in their mindset, but you can make an argument that he was trying to go for the ball, but Ja had it clearly on the opposite side. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of tough. I would hope, like you said, that it's not on purpose. I really hope it's not. But sometimes those are breaks sometimes, man. Now the Grizzlies will be without Ja Morant. So what's prediction for Game 4 now? With Ja being out.
I definitely do not like that with him being out. I don't like the Grizzlies' odds against the Warriors without Ja. And they're in Golden State on their home court. They'll have Dylan Brooks back, but Ja is the heart of the team and the driving force behind them. So without him, their chances are very slim unless they just really rally as a team and put together a great performance. I got to go with the Warriors on that one. I can't say the Grizzlies can win against the Warriors without Ja.
Yeah, I think it's the same. It's tough to see the Grizzlies win. I can't imagine winning without Ja Morant. And if you were watching the game, you see some of the audio tracks. I didn't know that Ja was such a profound leader as well for that team.
Yep.
The communication he does. the wisdom that he has and the IQ that he has to notice things on the floor and to give insight and directions and command. So I didn't know he was that type. I didn't know he had that type of leadership. I would hear it, but it's different from hearing it on the audio track. So
Yeah.
man, that's really good. So he's really valuable to his team. He literally is the spirit of that team. And if you don't have it, it's gonna be tough. It's tough for me to see how the Grizzlies can pull it out. So it looks like the Warriors may go up 3-1 the next time we see this matchup. And if they're up 3-1, we already know it's tough for teams to lose that lead. Granted, the Warriors technically did lose that lead before in the finals, but that was to LeBron James and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. This Grizzlies team is not that. So once they go 3-1, it's tough to see how the Grizzlies can even advance in the series, let alone win another playoff game. So, but best of luck to John Morant. We hope he gets healthy. We hope to see him again in the series, and we hope that the series can be competitive because we both originally predicted 6 or 7. But based on how things are going, it could definitely potentially be 5. So
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially be 5. So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's get into the game that just happened today, this afternoon. We had the Suns and the Mavericks, and boy,
What a game.
What a game.
That was Mavericks.
It was such a good game.
Yeah.
Such a good game. So as you know, the Mavericks beat the Suns, right? And now the series is now tied 2-2. It's tied 2-2 now. So, What's your reaction to the Mavericks? It looks like we got a series now.
Man, shout out to the Mavericks for just taking care of business at home to Dallas, and were seem to be determined on the same page. Luka obviously is still doing Luka-like things. He didn't have the most efficient day, but he still has 26. But really, he wasn't the story of the game. It was more so the rest of the team. Dorian Finney-Smith, someone I'd like really taking notice to this season. He really improved his game a lot based on where he was last year. And he had a great shooting day. I think he made 6, maybe more threes. He was a big help. Davis Bertans came out hot in the first half. Jalen Brunson making plays. So everyone on the team on the Mavericks had a well-balanced attack, and they really put together a great performance and were tough on the glass. Like Phoenix, obviously with DeAndre Ayton, JaVale McGee, they have great centers that can get on the boards. But Maxi Kleber and all those guys really did a great job of just staying aggressive and getting to the ball before the Suns could. And the Suns just Devin Booker was good, but they just didn't look, CP3 just didn't look right to me today. And it just, from the beginning of the game, it just didn't look like he was himself to me. And he fouled out, just didn't really have much of an impact in this game at all. But it was still close. So the Suns, with him, locked in and good to go, they'll be fine. But I was really impressed with Dallas today.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Dallas. They Jason Kidd adjusted again. They had a little bit more size out there. And the funny thing is, Luka had an off night. But it was the support.
He had 9-25.
Yeah, but he had the support. The bench really came to life. It really did. Like I said, Dorian Finney-Smith, he had he had an amazing shooting performance, especially in the second half. He was awesome from 3. But you also had other contributors as well. Reggie Bullock,
Mm-hmm.
Jalen as well. So even though Luka had an off game, even though Luka had an off game and the supporting cast did really well, I'm a little bit impressed with the Suns that they're able to still stay competitive because they didn't have Chris Paul, because he was clearly not himself. Like you said, he was clearly not himself. I mean, Chris Paul rarely fouls out games. And he fouled out. And a some of those fouls were questionable. You know, some of them were questionable, but you know, either way, he got fouled out. Sometimes it happens. So I think this is a game that, you know, it's understandable that you lose, but now it seems like we have a series now. We
for sure.
We will have a series on our hands now. This could potentially now go 7 games.
Yeah.
I don't know, but for my predictions for Game 5, you know, if they'll be back at home against the Suns, I predict that the Suns will win. I think they'll win Game 5. They're at home. Role players definitely play better at home. It's tough to see how the supporting cast will bring that shooting to Phoenix. I don't really see that going. So, yeah, I think Phoenix will win. They just got to make sure they grab the rebounds and cut out the turnovers.
Yeah. I think going back home to Phoenix, they're going to be really tough in their house. And you talked about adjustments with Jason Kidd. Monty Williams is going to make adjustments. Chris Paul is going to make an adjustment. Devin Booker just needs to really keep doing what he was doing, and they just have to be better on the glass. They have to get the boards, get the rebounds, and limit second chance opportunities, because I feel like that was a big factor in today's game. I feel like Phoenix will bounce back from this, and Chris Paul is not going to foul out again. And he's going to be, I think, a lot more aggressive and come out from the gate a lot, you know, stronger and better. So I agree with you. Phoenix probably will take Game 5.
Yeah, because I can make an argument. If Chris Paul stayed in and he was straight, you know, it was like, okay, I can make an argument they could have potentially pulled it out. Because, you know, see,
he didn't feel like open.
Like he could turn it on.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter. So I do like how they do keep attacking. Just keep attacking Luka if they can, but then Jason Kidd adjusts to that. So now you have to. It's just like a game of chess. You just have to adjust. Keep adjusting. You're gonna make the best adjustments and have the most impact with it. That's most likely who'll win the series. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So yeah, we're both going with Phoenix for Game 5.
Phoenix for Game 5.
Yeah. And I don't think we'll be on for Game 6, but I predict Mavs will probably win Game 6 based on how Game 5 goes, and I think we'll get a 7-game series. And if that does happen, we'll be on before that, and we'll get reactions and predictions if that happens. But you know, yeah, sure. All right. Now for the game that is about to happen very soon. My co-host's team, the Miami Heat, the Sixers rebound though, and now, but you know, the Heat still lead the series 2-1. We did see the return of Joel Embiid, the Black Man's Joel Embiid. He played pretty well. He played decent to come back after having no cardio work, not getting in game shape. He did pretty decently. He played pretty decently in that game. So yeah, what's your reaction to Game 3?
Joel Embiid didn't have a great game. He was impactful because he was out there. And it just goes to show that, you know, to me, that's why I feel like he's MVP, not because of his numbers, but because of his presence. It just helped his team a lot. James Harden played good. Tobias Harris has been playing pretty good overall through this series, I think. Tyrese Maxey obviously has been really good in his playoffs. Even Danny Green just was killing us, killing corner threes all night. So Joel Embiid's presence just gives the whole team a different outlook, and that's why he's an MVP caliber player, because not just of his own like personal stats, but his impact as a presence on the floor is important to that team, and they rallied together and got a win. That being said, Miami, that was trash. We played pretty trash. I don't know, I feel like Kyle Lord came back and we just kind of were a little bit indecisive. The Heat were just a bit indecisive. I feel like Jimmy needs to be aggressive and not pass up on a lot of shots. He needs to take more shots. Bam was decent. Tyler didn't really have an impactful game. And I think it was just not really making adjustments in the game. I feel like they're just kind of like cruising through, which I predicted them to drop a game because, shifting from one, the home floor to the next in Philly, it's a different feel, different atmosphere. So of course that plays a factor, but sometimes you just kind of get a lack of intensity, and I feel like they didn't come out with enough intensity. Joel Embiid, like I said, didn't have a really good game. To be, play with the injuries he has is really, good for what he did, but he wasn't that good, and we should have been just executing more so and getting on the glass. We gave up a lot of rebounds too, so we just have to be better on the glass. At least Jimmy take more shots and don't give up. I don't rely on. He's not, to me these days, he's not reliable. But Danny Green still can make threes, so let's stop them from getting easy looks. Everything has to be contested. So that's what that's my thoughts on this game 3 in Philly.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about the impact of Bam Adebayo? Because it seems that, before Joel Embiid, he was really feasting, especially in the paint. But with the presence of Joel Embiid, he didn't have such a great game as he did previously. So what are your thoughts about Bam?
I think Bam, to me, his biggest problem sometimes is that he can be indecisive when it comes to offensive attack. He, to me, will try to make a play, and he is a good playmaker. Like, he's a great playmaker, actually. But sometimes I want him to be a little more aggressive and take those, elbow jump shots that he gets from time to time. And he shows flashes of that in the paint with going up against Embiid this last game. He slashed at him real quick in transition, got to his fadeaway in right in the key. If he gets, if he's aggressive and makes Joel play defense, that's going to be hard for him to stop like every possession. I feel like Bam has to be aggressive as well and, just be decisive, a little more intent with his decision making. But obviously he's not going up against DeAndre Jordan now. Joel is a little more mobile when it comes to defending. So Bam just has to be intentional with his decision making, whether that's I'm gonna pass or I'm gonna shoot. But I think he'll make that adjustment too.
I think also Bam had the biggest plus minus in that game. I think a lot of that has to do with, like you said, some of his indecisiveness, because he had 3 turnovers. That's not good. He was also fouling. He ended the game with 5 fouls. And Joel Embiid is that type of player that is like, he's a superstar player. He can get those superstar calls as well sometimes. So I'm very interested to see how he'll adjust to tonight's game, because he is very key to, if y'all even have hopes of slowing down Joel Embiid. Granted, he had an off game, but that's understandable. But based on his circumstances and wearing the mask, I think he played pretty decently for first game back. And I expect him to be even more dominant. And the fact that he played 36 minutes in the first game back, I expect him to be more dominant, especially if he had time to, get the cardio up and get ready. Because he couldn't really do anything with the fracture at all. He couldn't really even see his, look at his phone.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to see how he looks tonight. I'm ready to see how you guys will make adjustments. So with that being said, what's your prediction for Game 4?
I'm looking for us to be a lot more intentional tonight. Look for the Heat to be aggressive and really lock down on the rebounds. Defensively, they're going to be really locked in, I think. And I think that that defensive presence is going to be a big difference tonight. I'm going with the Heat. I think it's going to be a close win in Philly. Going to take it back home, Miami, and close it out. That's what I'm hoping. I'm still sticking with my 4-1 prediction for when this series started. I think Miami's going to get it done. Because I'm like, all right, with the next round, I'm already like looking at it. I'm not trying to look ahead, too far ahead, but you facing Philly right now, but the next round is going to be Boston or Milwaukee. And those two teams, to me, are even tougher. So be aggressive on the defensive end. Shut these guys down, because I know he can. And the PJ Tucker is going to be hard knocks on Harden. And overall, we're going to be a lot better defensively. So I'm going with my Heat tonight with a close win for sure.
All right. I see you. I mean, but Joel Embiid back, you still saying the Heat winning 5?
I said this in the beginning. Whether Joel is back or not, Heat in 5. Because I don't really see at this stage, like if Joel playing is amazing, just for him to be out there with a thumb ligament that's messed up and orbital fracture, concussion protocol, to be out there is big, but he's not going to be effective enough to turn the series around for Philly. That's just me. If he was healthy, that may be a different case. I probably wouldn't say 5, but at his current state, no.
Yeah, he is still dealing with the right thumb injury. He is also still dealing with obviously the orbital fracture. So I see you, but man, if Joel Embiid comes out, I'm just gonna predict that. I mean, dang, the Sixers gonna get another game. To me, I think they'll get another one. Whether it's gonna be tonight or gonna be in Miami, I think they'll get one of these next 2 games. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I still predict the Heat to win overall. Like I said that. I said Heat in 6.
Yeah.
I said Heat in 6. So, and also to predict my prediction, I'm gonna say Philly wins another one. They don't tie up the series, and Miami's gonna win the next couple of games. It's not gonna go to Game 7. They'll win. Either they lose tonight, and they win in Miami. Something's gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna close it out in Miami. I don't think Miami's gonna be the place where they close it out. So I think the series gonna be closed out probably in Philly.
Okay.
In Game 6. But will I be shocked if the Sixers lose tonight? No, I won't be shocked. Because again, they are dealing with a lot of things. But Danny Green is hitting shots like he is tonight. Oh yeah, there's not much y'all can do. Because that's Danny Green. And Danny Green is known to miss shots like that. But if he's hitting them consistently like that,
that's bro. Danny Green is known to miss shots. It's so funny how the man has turned. Like he was great in San Antonio,
he was.
And now it's like, oh, he's not gonna hit shots like that again. Right. Just hearing that is just funny.
He's not known to hit shots like that, but if he hits them somehow tonight too, it was like Danny Green from like San Antonio Spurs days, how he was knocking those shots down like consistently like that. So he was on fire, and I don't like it for the Heat, but yeah, it was a corner 3 every time. Every time the corner 3.
I mean, I was so mad because I'm watching him go sprint baseline to baseline, and it's like, all right, we trying to like clamp down and play zone on Joel, and then Harden's driving / up Green corner 3. I'm like, bro, if this man is just running corner to corner, I know we can get one person, we can zone in on everybody, but at least guard him. He's making shots too. Because other than that, I didn't see Maxey was hitting shots, but he wasn't like shit killing us from 3 like that.
Right.
at least defend that part of the 3-point line. That's the least.
Corner three, that's like the easiest shot from the three. So at least
He was wide open. He could have gotten backdoor layups because it was like the whole back line was just gone. And they were trying to, push up, keeping Embiid out of the paint, keeping Harden from penetrating everything. Even James Harden had a good game, but they didn't have
he played decently. What do you think about Tyler? What do you think about Duncan Robinson not getting as many minutes?
I think that's something that Coach Spoelstra and everybody has, just kind of talked about. Do I feel like he would be, able to make an impact on the floor? Absolutely, but when it comes to the playoffs and the schemes, I think that is fine. And I think long as he's not, as long as he is ready to go, because I feel like he will get his, number called. It's just one of those things especially with the Heat, like it's always been. When I was younger and I was seeing like how Coach Spo did his rotations, I would see like when we had like Gerald Green and D-Wade, back in, 2015, 2016, and Gerald Green wasn't even getting in. Even Victor Oladipo, who was not getting in for half of the season because of injury recovery, and then once he was just not getting in anyway. And now he's part of the regular rotation for the playoffs. It's just that adjustment period. And honestly, Duncan Robinson can be compromising for us on defense, which is a big part of why he isn't on the floor a lot. But obviously, we know his shooting ability can counteract that. Yeah, so I feel like he'll get his moment, but for now, I feel like it's fine. If we need to get some scoring or, just switch it up, because I feel like that's something else they could do. I feel like sometimes coaches save certain players for certain games because teams hadn't really seen them. So they think, he's not going to be part of the rotation. So I could throw him in there for a couple of possessions, get some quick shots, and they don't really know how to play it because they're, probably just had an adjustment that was for another set. So,
good point. Another good take. Yeah, I was thinking about that. About his reliability on defense. That's been the reason why he wasn't in. But to have your role from being like a pretty solid role player to like not having any minutes, except when if it's like garbage time minutes. I wanted for him to still stay ready. It'll have to say a lot about him as a player. To have your role relegated like that, because he's Duncan Robinson. Y'all paid him. This is one of the players you guys paid to like play.
Yep.
So yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I was like, man, this really is the first time we saw him in garbage time. Like, that was it. I was like, wow. Yeah. I didn't realize until that point, like, man, I haven't really seen Duncan Robinson in this series.
Yeah.
So I'm going with the Sixers tonight. We're going with the Heat. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, let's see. But we both think the Heat are going to win the series still. But I'm still thinking it's going to be 6. Based on what happens tonight, it'll be in 5, like you said. So, I also want to talk about James Harden. James Harden, he's been playing okay. So my question is this now: should the Sixers offer him a max contract?
Based on what I've seen recently, I wouldn't be ready to offer him a max contract. And there's no slight to him because I know he's dealt with injury and just trying to, still, making adjustments, come to a new team. But I think that he at this stage, if he's not able to I feel like next year is where we see if Harden is Harden. I feel like right now he's just not 100%, and it's just because of the injury from last year with the hamstring. I don't think he's ever really gotten back to full strength. He just hasn't really been able to. Like I said, I think we talked about this before. He can't get off a step back three. He's been better. He's looked better recently, like as far as his movement as of late, but still he isn't hitting shots like that. I just don't. Based on what I've seen in Philly for him so far, I wouldn't be willing to give him a contract extension right now. I will wait, if I'm them, to the next season to see, how he operates and his attitude about the whole thing, honestly.
Yeah.
Because he also did just force his way out of Houston, force his way out of Brooklyn, basically. So I would probably just try to wait on that. I wouldn't give him max.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I do think that I wouldn't give him a max contract extension. I wouldn't offer it to him. I would see how it goes and go from there. But I'm trying to remember, is this his final year or does he have a player option? I have to do some more research and see. But I feel like, because remember, the Nets offered him a contract extension earlier this year. He turned it down. So I feel like, okay, you see how he plays the rest of the time, rest of the season, how he plays. Based on his play, make a decision about whether you want to offer him an extension or not. Because to me, I think Maxey is that guy.
Maxey's been the best player behind Joel Embiid.
Right. And Maxey is relatively, he's a much cheaper contract. Imagine what you can do with that money from James Harden and invest in other players, right? Or potentially get another superstar that can complement Joel Embiid a little bit better. I say maybe invest in a wing player, like another wing player that can help defend and shoot the ball. Because I wish they kept Seth Curry. Because that's another shooter to help space the floor for somebody. But I believe they can use that money and better utilize it for other places, in that team.
Yeah.
I think they can do that instead. Yeah, I wouldn't pay Harden right now. Because it's the Harden you traded for is not the Harden you thought you were going to get. This is not. I would say this is definitely not Houston Harden. This is still not even Harden from Brooklyn Nets when he was playing well. The Harden that was dishing and assisting and playing decently. Like, getting in the lane and playing well. He didn't get you 30, but he was getting you like 20 and, like 20 and 10, 20 and 15, like assists. Like, you're not even getting that Harden. This is a James Harden that looks like prime is at the tail end if it's not over. That's what it's looking like. Similar to Russ, like he, it's not looking good. They're not playing to our expectations. Like we really expected Russ to play at a certain level. We're expecting James Harden to play at a certain level, but they're not. And they're getting older, so maybe it's that time, maybe not. We'll see. Is it the fit? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, but I would not offer it to him yet. See how he plays the rest of the series. If y'all can get out of the series, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I doubt they'll get out the series, of course, but it matters about how he plays and how he looks. Because they got James Harden to help advance in the playoffs. And what's the point of trading for him if you're not going to get past the second round?
Yeah, I feel you.
They probably would have had a better chance keeping what they had.
They would have had some.
They would have had more
shooters and depth.
Yeah, they would have more depth and shooters.
Yeah, because I mean, he's basically, honestly, at times he's looked more like the fourth guy behind Tobias Harris, and Tobias Harris, no slight to him at all. He hadn't been able to get as many shots because it's Harden and Maxey's evolving. Obviously, Joel Embiid is your best player. He's going to get the most touches, but Harden just hasn't been efficient. And I know you talked about this too, like with the rules change a little bit with the way he was getting fouls is not exactly the same, but still, it's like when I was looking at some of the games so far in this series and see him on fast breaks, and he hits you with the crossover into the Euro step, lay it up, right? He's had one-on-ones where he just missed it completely, and I'm like, man, that's unlike him. Even if he was a foul or not, I'm used to seeing him finish a lot more plays than he has been. And then with the step back, side step, no barely separation or no separation at all. I mean, he got a couple off, but he still wasn't making them. So I don't know if athletically he's like slowing down, or if his teams have figured him out more so, like with how he, because he, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised by that, because I was always like, even in Houston, the way he was just scoring, it's like, you know what he's going to do, but you just couldn't stop it. Right. So now it's like, all right, teams know Harden's going to hit you at the top of the key, dribble, step back, or he's going to go into the lane, he's going to lay it up, he's going to swipe through, and maybe they figured it out. But also, he just hadn't looked physically the same in 2 seasons now.
Yeah, and along with that, it seems like whenever he does the ISO, it's like it's just. I mean, this is how he plays. Yeah, it takes up the time and installs the offense.
Yeah, because Maxey, even though Maxey is really, really quick, really fast, and then when you get Harden on top of the key, it's like, all right, the ball just slows down immediately. Like, I'm like, man.
But the pace entirely slows down.
Yeah. And it's like, he's really, what you need from him is to be a spot-up shooter more so than he has been. Because I was watching one play, I was like, all right, he got, the extra pass, went to Harden. He had the time, but he didn't take it. He dribbled, then he swung it. And it was like, all right, well, now there's no open shot. So I feel like he has to either, transform his game, or he has to still be that same level of player, which he hasn't been.
I think he has a skill to change his game, because he has a skill. He still has a skill to be a good ball handler and to have the vision to pass. And Chris Broussard made a good point. I do also think that he got spoiled in Dude's system. D'Antoni. I think he got spoiled in D'Antoni's system, because that's all D'Antoni wanted. That's how he wanted him to play. In years in that system. Years in that system where you're the superstar, all-star, multi-all-star, MVP caliber player that you got, it's going to be hard to change that. So I feel like he got spoiled in that system. Almost like Russ as well. OKC has allowed him to be him. They ain't really get a coach to really help change some things. It was like let Russ be Russ.
Yeah.
With all that, he's still him. I think along with Russ, I think he has a skill to change his game too. It's just the fact, will they do it? A lot of people question their ego. Will their ego allow them to do it? So.
Yeah, he's talking about 2 dudes that have been the franchise guys for multiple years of their careers, especially Harden, being a 30, 29, 28 point per game type of dude, MVP caliber player, year after year. And basically, he was the offense in Houston. He was the guy, completely. 90% of everything that happened was because of him. So to go from that to, I got 2 dudes that are basically better than me, to now I'm coming off an injury, and I got to do this better than me, and I got another dude that's evolving and looking like he is better than me. So he just hadn't. That's a hard ask for a superstar to change up like that. I think we saw this a couple years ago with Melo, accepting the bench role at first. It's when it comes from you being the guy to being another secondary, third, fourth option is a big adjustment. So we'll see.
Yeah. As far as these 2 players go, with Russ and Harden, we could see him go the route that Melo took. They don't adjust. They could potentially find themselves out of the league. We've definitely seen that with Russ right now. That could potentially happen based on what happens next year. Maybe out for a little bit. Based on James Harden too, because his contract will be up, but they don't offer him an extension. That'll be it. So we'll see. Hopefully they can adjust, because I would love to see them both in the league longer. Because they both have the skill. And of course, OKC days, I love them both. I support them both, but it all depends on them.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be out of the league. I don't want them to be either, but the adjustment is going to be something to watch.
Because Melo was pushed out based on what happened, so because his lack of to even try to adjust. Because I remember, we had him. I know he did not come off the bench, where he could have really done some good coming off the bench for us in KC. And
Yeah.
PG, it was supposed to be next big three. Some of the Lakers, we thought we were getting Melo, Melo, but it turns out that wasn't the Melo that we got. So
Also dealt with injury too.
also that was good too, but yeah, it wasn't the Melo that we thought we were gonna get. So it wasn't a big three. All right, last question for the day, and we'll wrap it up. Out of here. So we had a lot of great playoff performances, a lot of great standout players and breakout players in the playoffs. So, who is the best playoff performer around 2 so far? Round 2 is still going. We're about the halfway mark as far as this second round goes. But who has been your best performer so far, or favorite performer?
Man, it's a lot of good talent right now. It's hard to say. I like to go for the underdogs, the players that aren't exactly superstars, but I might have to give it to a superstar in this case because I'm just thinking about Giannis and just how dominant that last game was, bro. I think Giannis has been. If I had to give overall, Giannis has probably been the best of the second round. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Giannis, man. It's really hard because a lot of guys I think have been great. Ja's been great, been the engine, the heart of the team for Memphis. Jaylen Brown, I liked his first couple games in Boston as well. Jordan Poole has been fun. It's a lot of guys, bro. But I think Giannis has just been showing why he's an MVP in the MVP vote every year. I'm gonna go with Giannis.
Yeah, good pick. I can't knock that. I'm torn between two. I'm gonna lay it out real quick. I'm torn between Ja, who had a 47-point performance, an amazing game you've ever seen. He was great for that whole game.
Oh yeah.
Yo, it was amazing. Game Game 3. I'm thinking about 2.
Yeah.
2, 3. He was good both those games. He's been good, man. He's been great this series. And the other person I want to shout out, I'm still between him and Chris Paul. Chris Paul had literally the perfect game. Didn't miss a shot.
Perfect. Yeah, didn't miss a shot at all.
Yeah.
He looked human for a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
So he's been performing great. Now, the game that happened today, before the game that happened today, I was really considering Chris Paul. But since what happened today, all the turnovers and the fouling out, and I'm going to go with Ja. Even though he was out and they lost that game, he was still performing well up to that point.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Ja. Yeah, I can't go wrong with Greek Feet. I think that's a great pick. But I'm going to go with Ja. I think he has more standout moments. Although Greek Freak did have the self alley-oop in this series. He's also had post spin and dunk. He's had some standout moments too. But Ja hitting from pass half court, all the fantastic finishes he's had. The not buzzer beaters, but silencers he's had.
Oh yeah, making the adjustments, hitting the floaters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the last game with the Bucks and Celtics, it was Drew Holiday that hit the dagger, not Giannis.
Yeah.
For the Grizzlies, it's always Ja. So I'm gonna give it to Ja so far right now. Now after this, he may not play anymore, but up to this point, I give it to Ja. So yeah.
I'm mad at that, man. Ja, I love what he's doing, bro. I hope he's able to play. I hope he's able to play. I hope he's not hurt terribly. You know what I mean? I hope he's able to come back and be himself. And Man, yeah.
It's tough to see.
I like that. That's a good pick though. Ja's been great for sure.
He's been great. Well, thanks for hanging out with this Swishes. We know the game is about to start soon. Check out the game. Shout out to Zay's Heat. Hope they perform well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see what happens. Make sure to keep tuning in. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. What you see, making comments. If you agree, disagree, let us know. Make sure to look out for the audio podcast as well on all podcast platforms. We have links in the descriptions of our videos as well. Make sure you check those out. So yeah, we thank y'all for y'all support. Really appreciate y'all. Follow us on social media. We'll let you know the next time we'll be live again. Check out for our new videos and clips this week. So yeah, look out for all that. So yeah, this has been QtheGuru signing off.
I'm Zay, the executive producer. Thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all on the next one.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning into the podcast, and thanks to our sponsor, SS96. Still rocking with us in 2022, and it's so amazing. We appreciate you. SS96 is putting out new merch and still has some of your favorites. Get your Xzequtive Productions t-shirts, Swish Masters t-shirts, as well as Farm Raised Entertainment t-shirts. Don't forget to check out Straight Stoner's music, as well as my own release under Xzequtive Productions. It's available on all streaming platforms, and new music is in the works, so stay tuned. Go to ss96.net and use the promo code Swish Masters to get discounted merch today. Thank you all again. We're grateful.
Hey, I know we said we were done, but real quick, I forgot. There was some breaking news that happened. So, the Kings hired Mike Brown to a 4-year deal to the Kings. So
Really?
Mike Brown is the new head coach for the Sacramento Kings.
Huh.
Yeah. And remember, right now, he's still with the Warriors, coaching the playoff series. So, yeah. So, yeah, real quick. That's one thing. There's another piece of news that happened. That's breaking news we'll talk about in a second. But, yeah, what's your reaction to Mike Brown being new head coach for the Kings?
I think it's a good move for the Kings. They need a veteran coach to, gather their young guys and figure this thing out, because De'Aaron Fox is too talented for them to not be doing anything. I feel like no one's had expectations for the Kings in years. So hearing Mike Brown, who coached LeBron and, been part of the Warriors staff for quite a while, is pretty big. That's a good hire for them for sure. And I hope they can make a difference, make something happen. Out in Sacramento, it's been a long time. So that's dope.
It's definitely a long time. I think they have a good piece in Simmons. They acquired him via trade. I think
Yeah.
I think they're just missing that coach. They've been going through some coaches recently. Top of my head, remember that? I think they had Jaeger. I think at one point they had Luke Walton. At one point. So
Calvin Jenkins took over for Walton after he got fired. Yeah.
So, hopefully, and this is a 4-year deal. I'm glad it's a 4-year deal, so it gives them time to really work with them, to know that your job is secure. I mean, obviously, as fans, we don't expect the Kings to go very far. We need to get them to the play-in. We're happy for you, So,
for real, yeah.
For real. You got De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis centerpieces. I think they complement each other very well with their skill sets. Sabonis can play inside and out. He's a good passer as well. De'Aaron Fox is a good driver of the basketball, good finisher, very quick, push the pace of transition. I think they got some good role players. I think they fill out the rest of the roster. That's what I want to see. Buddy Hield has been rumored to be on the trade block for some time now. Are they going to push the button on that trade and get some Buddy Hield to help fit everybody else? Because Buddy Hield, I think a lot of people forget, he's kind of older. He's getting up there in age now. Because remember, he came out of college late when he was drafted. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see. So, overall, I like that deal. I like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Happy for Mike Brown. And hopefully it won't be a distraction. I don't think it'll be a distraction. I think the Warriors are so 10% focused in mindset. I don't think they'll be distracted by this.
No.
Yeah. last piece of NBA news. There's going to be no punishment for Jordan Poole. The NBA is not taking action on the play that may have injured Ja Morant. Now, that's the last piece of news I wanted to put out there because, as you know, we had a conversation about this. Dylan Brooks was suspended, and you think a lot of that had to do with the injury. This also further proves that, you know what? Probably because of the injury. So, I don't think Poole deserved a suspension, but no punishment at all? I don't know. Based on what we've seen so far, I think Grizzlies fans can see that as like, oh, the NBA, they tripping. They favoring the Warriors and the refs are favoring. I can see how Grizzlies fans can see that and think that.
Yeah, I feel that. I think that it's just a little bit different because in Dylan Brooks' case, it was the wind up. And with this, it still is not good, but he didn't wind up and stab him in the knee. He grabbed his knee and it was bad, but it looks more like a basketball play, like he's reaching for the ball instead of like winding up to like smack him.
Right.
So.
That I agree with that. That is the main difference. So I didn't think it warranted suspension or anything like that, but I can see how that can cause an uproar, especially with the head coach is not pleased at all with this. If I was a coach as well, a superstar player got hurt off a play like that. When we're talking about Cole's already in the series, I'll be upset too. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that'll be it. So that was the last piece of NBA news. So we just want to make sure we react to that. And Ja does seem to be limping as well, so it's tough. It's tough right now. So yeah.
Praying for Ja. Get well soon.
For sure. All right. Yeah, that was it. So again, all that yakety yak. Make sure you subscribe, share, whatever. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. I'm signing off for real.
Next time. Oh man.